I'm Rick Lambert. Welcome to this Marketing Show. You know, it was about 15 years ago. I did a keynote for about 400 people here in London, Ontario, our hometown, called The Rise of Social Media in Business. And I got to tell you, 15 years ago, people were like, yeah, whatever, Rick. But as we fast forward to today in a COVID pandemic, social media is where people are, especially the customers we want to talk to, meet with, have conversations. And so, Cheryl, why don't you let the folks know what we're going to talk about today to help them on social media?
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the show. Our topic today is top 5 mistakes that businesses make on social media. And I have to point out there's probably about 50, but we're going to go through the top 5 that we see on a regular basis and maybe offer up a few pointers on how you can correct those mistakes. So why don't you start with your number 1?
Okay, so Cheryl, you said 50. There's probably many more. And as we get into this program, just a quick note for you folks, off camera before, I said to Cheryl, you know, I watch a lot of people on social media, and people, I think, sometimes point out mistakes they think other people are making. A, don't offer a solution, and B, you know, who'd be it for them to point fingers? And so today, as we approach these topics, we just want to be respectful and say, hey, these are opportunities, I think, to correct, and Cheryl and I will give what we see as opportunities / mistakes. Okay, the first one I would say is you got to get everybody in the boat pulling on the oars. And what I mean by that is, we've got companies that we look at, and the company's posting content, but when we analyze the reps for our LinkedIn program, the analytics come back and say that 80+% of their people are not posting or sharing anything. That's their own content or company content. And so I think employee engagement's a big mistake / opportunity, Cheryl. And I think it starts at the new hire level. When you bring someone in, I think you've got to brand them properly for social media so their profile looks like a customer resume we talk about. And oh, by the way, there's an expectation or understanding that they are responsible for sharing the company message within their, social circle.
That's a really good point. It's important to include your employees in the content that you're creating on social, like get them to buy into it, get them to contribute, and then they're more likely to want to share the content. So that's a good one. One of my, pet peeves, I think, and also my top mistake that I see on social media is inconsistent branding. So you go to somebody's Facebook page and you see a certain color scheme, or maybe you see a certain logo. Then you go over to Twitter and it looks totally different. And then you pop over to the actual website, and once again, you're looking at a completely different design. So make sure that your branding is recognizable and make sure that it's consistent throughout all the platforms. You don't want to vary too much. You certainly want to vary on the specs depending on the platform that you're posting, but from a content perspective and from a branding perspective, you want to make sure that it's as uniform as you can possibly make it.
Cheryl, there's pictures of me on a sell-to-win site with hair and then no hair, kind of a branding mix, which we're working on.
Inconsistent branding.
We're not perfect. Although I can say, like what you've done with our clients, Cheryl, in terms of facing them up with a look on social media that someone would know, okay, that's them. In the olden days, and that's going back as recent as, let's say, a couple of years ago, people thought, oh, just post anything. It was a mishmash, and you didn't know who it was really from. Anyway, great point. Okay, is it back to me? Sorry? Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. I would say, yesterday I'm looking at a social post of the backside of a brochure that appears about font size 1.2 on my screen, and I'm trying to read what this guy did. Now, I was only looking at it because I thought, why would someone post the back of a brochure expecting someone to read it? And I think we got to get our head straight on social media to be effective as a business. We're talking. We need to go from promotional to educational. Look, I record hockey games, TV shows, the ones that my family watches, I don't want to watch. And I fast forward through the commercials, and I guarantee your customers doing the same thing when you've got these push messages on why your product's the best. And I think the more we can educate versus promote will attract people to slow down and not fast forward past our posts. Classic mistake. And I would encourage people to take a look at the last 10 posts your company has done and really be honest with yourself. Are they promotional push messages, or are you actually helping them understand why they might need and or buy your product?
Yep, that's a really good point, and that actually kind of ties into my second mistake that I wanted to point out on today's show, and that is no lead generation strategy. So a lot of times businesses will create content around, like you mentioned, the services that they offer or the products. They're not linking it to anything. They're just saying, hey guys, we have this, buy it from us or hire us to help you. Instead, what you need to do is you need to create some kind of lead gen where you're driving traffic back to a site on your page. And in my opinion, I think blogs, or resource hubs, as we sometimes call them, is the best place to drive traffic, because again, you're educating the client. It's not so much of a push on, this is the product and service we want you to purchase from us. It's, hey, we're going to help you solve some problems along the way. And by the way, the ones that we can't help you solve, we can actually do ourselves for you. So lead generation strategy, drive your social posts to a page on your site, and hopefully something that's educational as well, so they can learn something.
And you know, Cheryl, for a business leader watching right now, they may say, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. We used to drive over to Harvard or all these, you know, third-party links. But I can say, since you took over and started to manage the client's social mix with links back to site, we've seen a dramatic increase in website traffic. In other words, more people come to your store. And I just think it's great. And the numbers support everything you're saying. So great idea.
Thank you. I have one more quick one, and then I know you've got a few points that you want to make before we wrap things up. Social media overload. So there's so many different platforms out there today, and I'm not saying social media overload in the sense of like you're posting too many posts, which is a whole other problem. I'm saying, you have your Twitter, you have your Facebook, you have your Google, you have Instagram, you have Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. You don't have to do them all. And I see a lot of businesses that try to get in there and do all of them kind of okay, not well. I think what you need to do is pick the ones that make the most sense for your business. And what are those? The ones where your audience, where is your audience? Where are they? Where are they active on? Those are the ones that you want to master, and you want to focus on them. So a lot of our clients are anywhere between 3 and 4 platforms, and we just do them really well, as opposed to doing them not so great, but being out there everywhere.
So Cheryl, you mentioned 3 to 4 platforms. What are the platforms that our clients seem to catch the most fish on?
For us, it's of course LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are the 4 biggest ones that we typically master with our clients. Most of our clients are selling B2B, so that makes sense. And a lot of our clients are selling to business owners and executives, or entrepreneurs, let's say. So those are the platforms that we deal with for the most part on a regular basis. YouTube as well. YouTube as well is in there too.
Absolutely. And sometimes people separate YouTube as a social channel, although I would say it's the highway of video, and we won't even get into the need for video, but on social media. Okay, a couple other quick things, okay? One time, Cheryl, I went on this diet. It was New Year's, and I said, this year I'm going to, okay? And by January 3rd, the diet seemed to be, and so on social media, so many people have a similar approach. And I think, we got to make a commitment to the commitment. And, as we have young people applying for our company, they look at our social media. And if it's inactive for 3 months and we're still showing season's greetings, it communicates more than we might think. And the last things we talked about in our last marketing show, someone's got to monitor social media. And not just for negative comments, but what about positive ones? Maybe if someone comment positively and you want to let them know that you're around it, you're cognizant of what's being said on your social channel. So I'm just saying, be consistent. If you're going to jump in, make sure you're ready to swim. And the other thing is, have an eye on what's going on, because that way you can know what's working, what's not working, engaging, etc. And anyway, those were my ideas. There's so many opportunities, but a few that I think can help our viewers.
For sure. And we can help as well. If anyone has any questions about anything that they should be doing, we'd be happy to take a look at your social media platforms and give you some advice. You can email us anytime, engage@intocommunications.com. What a great show. Thanks, Rick.
And there's one more, I think, on my sheet here I'm supposed to read. Tell them the biggest mistake they could be making on social media. Here it is. Get your pens out. Not watching the Smarketing show. I can't believe it. We forgot that one.
Oh my goodness. See you next week, everybody.